So the past 48 hours, I think, are probably the craziest 48 hours that I have ever experienced, or at least up there. My flight from Lincoln to Denver to Phoenix was delayed by an entire day, and so I had to stay in Nebraska for another day, which was fine. I had no issue with it. I missed my farewell party at the Valley Bar on Saturday night, which was a little sad, but it was okay. I got to spend some more time at home. And then I got my flight this morning, early in the morning. I woke up at 4 a.m. Nebraska time, which is 2 a.m. Arizona time, to get the flight from Lincoln to Denver, Denver to Phoenix. And then I took a lift from the airport to get home, and I walked to my car, and as soon as I saw it from afar, I knew that my bikes were gone. I could see my rack on the back of my car. Granted, and a bunch of people have told me this already, I shouldn't have left them on that bike rack outside. Noted, but I had 3 U-locks on them and a cable lock, and it was locked to the car, everything. It was locked down, and somebody still was able to take my bikes, even within the gated confines of my apartment where there's so many people watching all the time. And my neighbor lady said she was keeping an eye on it even. And the police are coming back, so I should wait. Alright, so the police came back, and they went to the house and talked to the guy. They wrote him down as a probable lead. He was the only one that would come out of the house. It was the guy that listed my bike on OfferUp, and a kind person from Steve Bay, who actually happened to be named Steve, had been messaging this guy that listed my bike, and they set a meet location for 32nd in Washington, and they're like, we're gonna meet here at 7:30, bike is sold to you, you got it, this is great. And I set up a meet location with the police. So Steve and I were talking, Steve's giving me updates. We didn't want a bunch of people to message this guy at once, because we would, he would catch on to what's going on. So police and I met 2 blocks north of this location, and I called them at 6:15 when I found out. And I was messaging people, I was looking at Facebook, I was calling the police, I was driving to the location, I was getting all the photos down, all the evidence that I have, and then his address and phone number and all this stuff. I met up with the police. They got there at 7:25, and by the time he went to the guy's front door and talked to the people there, it was gone. So the story from the guy who listed it on OfferUp was that some tweaker, 6'3" white guy, with black shirt, black backpack, super specific description, right? Came by his house. He turns over bikes for people. He takes in bikes, fixes them up, and resells them, and helps to give them profit to people. So tweaker brings my lovely mountain bike to this guy who turns them over, and he's like, please, I have a family, I just need $300. And the turnover guy, David, was like, okay, I'll give you $350, I'll try to sell it for $500, and anything over $350 is my profit, but you get the $350 base. And he just stayed there. The tweaker stayed at this guy's house waiting for OfferUp to work, for him to sell it. So it's listed on OfferUp. Everyone on Steve Bay is going crazy, commenting back and forth, following up on the listing, messaging this guy. There was almost a tour de force of people that were going to show up, but I just went with Jim Nissen. Thank you, Jim Nissen. And we sat there, waited for the cops. The cops went to his door, and he came out and just said, hey, that tweaker is gone now. As soon as he, realized that the police were going to be involved, he ran away. So we don't know for sure if it's a tweaker that had the bike and left, or if the bike is still there. This guy had tons of different bikes in his house, so he's down as a lead just for having those bikes in general. And then we have the description of the guy who supposedly has my bike, but who knows if it's gonna be found. We just know the area. So this was all at 28th Street and Monroe / Van Buren in downtown Phoenix. Definitely gonna keep an eye out still on Craigslist, on OfferUp, on everything for both the mountain bike and my felt, but honestly I care about the mountain bike more. I would want to ride it more. So that's the status. I don't even know when I'm going to leave for the trip now. I kind of want to stay here and see what happens with my bikes, but I may go up to Flagstaff tomorrow to grab a bike from my friend Garrett, who has so kindly offered to let me borrow one for the day, or for the trip. So yeah, I'm pretty flustered. I haven't slept since 2 a.m. Arizona time. my head hurts and my heart is still beating fast. So I hope that this all comes to some sort of a resolution, but I just have a feeling we were so close and now that mountain bike is gone. I'll let you know anything else that happens.